Good morning. Thanks for joining me today for Status Hearing. This program is my call out to the whole world to try to stay present. And it's not always easy to do. My goal here is to give you some exercises, some breathing um, recommendations to help you stay present during the day, to help you stay calm. I think we do a lot of things to undermine our efforts to be happy on a regular basis. And my goal here is to give you some pointers, some things that you can remember through the day to help you become more mindful, more aware of what's going on in front of you, and more aware of what's going on inside of you so that you can respond a little more productively and not just jump into the fray. So let's begin on our backs as we normally do with mindful breathing, which is really the foundation of everything we're doing in this program. Begin by resting your hands on your belly. Inhale and feel your belly rise. Exhale, feel your belly fall. We begin this way every day. Because breathing is such a fundamental physical act. It's happening all the time. It's present all the time. But we're not frequently present with the breath. And a lot of times we allow our heads to take over the body, and the head wants to, or the head is told that it's supposed to exercise and move every day, and that 20 minutes, 3 times a week will get cardiac benefits. And all these things are true, but mindlessly moving for 20 minutes can often do more harm than good because we're not paying attention to how our feet are moving. We're not paying attention to how we breathe. And as we get older, we begin to develop very poor movement habits that prevent us from just feeling good, which is the reason we took the time to move in the first place. So being mindful of the breath is the first way that you can be active and do something good for yourself without hurting yourself. So take a few more breaths here. You may already find yourself you may be finding yourself a little bit out of breath right now. If you are finding yourself out of breath, that's all you need to do. You've already reached your movement goals, and we're just going to build on that. But for today, we're just going to pay attention to that. As you continue to breathe, begin to actively pull your navel toward your spine and begin to tilt your pelvis toward the backs of your knees. And this is going to be the foundation movement that we're going to build upon as we add strength movements, as we add flexibility movements. It all is going to be based on this idea of pulling the stomach down on the exhalation and tilting the pelvis toward the backs of the knees. Inhale, fill. Exhale, tilt the pelvis toward the backs of the knees. The more you do this, the more you're going to find that you are getting stronger. So even today, you're going to find that you can probably contract a little more firmly because you're coordinating all of the movement. Exhale, tilt the pelvis, lengthen through the thighs. The knees can point, and think about extending them all the way to the wall across from the knees, or the wall opposite the knees. You can breathe as fast or as slowly as is comfortable for you. And you can begin to lift your hips a little bit. So maybe I'm lifting maybe an inch off the floor. It's kind of hard to see with the lighting. Just about an inch off the floor. But each time I do that, I'm pressing into the feet. Feeling hamstrings contracting. So I'm feeling my hamstrings getting a little bit fatigued here. The other thing to pay attention to is what's happening with the knees. If we're not mindful, we'll find the knees falling to the side. And we want to keep the knees about hip width, and we want to keep the legs about hip width apart. So I don't want them falling out to the side. I could bring them closer together if I wanted to. Most of us are going to have difficulty with that though, because the hips are tight. So continue with a few more repetitions, exhaling, pulling the navel to the spine and lifting the hips. Inhaling and relaxing. Exhaling, pulling the navel to the spine and lifting the hips. We're going to add on to that now by pressing the feet into the floor and making an effort to push the body away, but I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm going to ground the backs of my arms and open up my shoulders, widening across my collarbones. Gently tuck the back of the head toward the floor. And all of that is going to act as a stopper, so that when we press into the floor with the feet and gently lift the hips and push the body backwards, the arms, the shoulders, and the head are going to resist any movement. And now we're going to begin to feel a nice stretch in the back, in the shoulder blades, across the trapezius muscles that extend from the neck to the shoulders, to the back, all the way, almost all the way down the back. The trapezius is a huge muscle. So as we continue, we're pressing into the feet, pushing but resisting with the shoulders, feeling the neck lengthen, feeling the shoulder blades slide toward the hips, feeling more of the back pressing into the floor, flattening. Now I'm also starting to feel my shins because I keep pushing my feet into the floor. If you're feeling something else like your shins, or if you're thinking, oh, the backs of my thighs, they're just aching right now, that's fine. You don't have to keep lifting your hips, but keep pulling your navel toward your spine each time you exhale. And as you exhale, exhale all the way out. Hesitate for just a moment at the very bottom of the breath, and then just breathe. And notice it's almost like a spring. If you push all the way out, all the breath out, hesitate for just a moment. You don't have to make an effort to breathe. The breath automatically flows in. One more time here. Pressing all the air out, pressing the whole back to the floor, and then relaxing, feeling the belly fill. Let's bring the arms above the shoulders. Now the arms are going to stay shoulder width apart. As you inhale, raise your shoulders away from the floor. As you exhale and pull your belly back toward your spine, you're going to relax through the shoulders. So inhale, exhale. Now, pin the backs of your shoulders to the floor. The backs of those shoulders, I want to rest them on the floor. As I inhale, I'm just going to bring my arms about 2/3 of the way out. Bring them back to shoulder width. Inhale, belly fills, arms open. Exhale, navel presses toward the spine. Pelvis tilts toward the backs of the knees, and arms come back to shoulder width. Inhale, exhale. If you're continuing to press with those feet, the shoulder blades will be tucking underneath the back. And this small little arm movement will be causing you to feel a sensation in your chest. If you can't feel a sensation in your chest, think about, instead of bringing your arms together, bringing your elbows together. The elbows fall to the side, and then the elbows come to the center. The purpose of doing this is to help us open up the chest. But before we even open the chest, if we can't feel the chest, we don't really know what we're doing. If we do a couple of these chest flies, hopefully you're going to start to feel some fatigue in the chest. And that's going to make it easier to notice whether or not you're contracting through the chest or relaxing through the chest. One more time. Exhale, pull the navel in. Inhale, fill the belly and let the arms fall all the way out to the side. Take a few breaths here, exhaling, pulling the navel in. And now, see if you can push the chest toward the floor, separating between the shoulder blades on the back. Next time you inhale, fill the belly, fill the ribs, fill the chest. Exhale, press the chest down toward the floor. Press the ribs together. Press the navel toward the floor and tuck the pelvis. Hold that exhalation for just a moment and then fill with the inhalation, and it happens automatically. Exhale again, press the shoulders down to the floor, press the chest toward the shoulder blades, ribs pull together at the center, navel pulls to the floor, we tuck the pelvis under and aim the tailbone for the backs of the knees, maybe even pushing into the floor with the feet as well. Inhale, relax. Exhale, shoulders, chest, ribs pull together, navel, pelvis, feet. Inhale, relax feet, pelvis, navel, ribs, chest, shoulders. Exhale, move it down. Inhale, relax as you relax up toward the head. Exhale, engage, press toward the floor, moving down. Inhale, relax, moving up. Exhale, press toward the floor, moving down. One last time. Inhale. Last time, exhale, press the chest. The shoulders, the chest, the ribs, the belly, the pelvis tilts. You can lift the hips if you want to and push into your feet. And just relax everything. Let's roll over onto the side and come up onto all fours from here. I'm going to point the toes, look down at my thighs. I want them to be roughly hip width apart. And then I'm going to place the wrists directly in front of the knees. And from here, I'm going to press into the palms, just dropping my weight, dropping my shoulders down toward the floor. I'm going to press into the palms of the hands and the entire length of both shins. Exhale, push out of the shoulders, push the shins to the floor, and pull the navel toward the spine. Inhale, drop into the palms and the shins, fill the belly. Exhale, pull the navel to the spine, push into the palms, push into the shins. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to do a couple more repetitions of this. You can make this as easy or as difficult as you like. Just pull the navel toward the spine a little more actively if you want this to be a little more difficult. Drop down a little bit lower if you want this to be more difficult. Press into the shins a little more firmly if you want this to be more difficult. Tilt the tailbone down toward the floor. So all of these add-ons here are things that we were doing in the last series on the back. We just changed the body position a little bit, and we're doing very, very basic moves and coordinating them with the breath. So you can make this easy, or you can make this really hard. You can strengthen the muscles with this simple little breath practice. And the more firmly you press into those wrists, the more you're going to feel fatigue in the triceps, maybe fatigue in the forearms, maybe fatigue in the backs of the shoulders. One more time, inhale, fill. Exhale, make that effort. Round everything as firmly as you can. Tuck the tailbone down to the floor. Tuck the chin toward the chest. And now leaning back onto the heels and just relax the wrists. You can pull your wrists backward and then extend. Pull backward and extend and rotate the wrists toward each other and rotate away. And I am guessing, and you can relax those arms, I'm guessing that even the rotation in the wrists you were finding a little challenging. If you're feeling anything in those forearms when you rotate your wrists, you're doing exactly what we want to do. I talked yesterday about myofascial adhesions, this idea that there's a layer of tissue that covers the muscles, it covers the bones, it holds everything together. And we get adhesions there. Waste products get deposited and they get stuck so that we're unable to move the joints. The fingers get stiff, the wrists get stiff. So any movement like this that causes you to feel that, just to feel anything, really, the reason why you're feeling it is because you're forcing blood into the area. That's the only way you can keep moving your joints. Your cells have to get nutrients in order to move your joints. So you're bringing blood into the area. That's all we want to do. It doesn't have to be hard. We don't have to kill ourselves. For that matter, let's finish out with one more exercise here. All I'm doing is lengthening through my hands and fingers, and I'm going to lengthen through my arms. Now, I could hunch my shoulders, and I'm going to try not to do that. Slide them down. I could also hunch them forward. I'm going to try not to do that either. Try to straighten out my back as much as I can, and I'm just going to extend my arms. Think about extending through the tops of your arms from the shoulders to the elbow, really firmly, really firmly. What about the bottoms of your arms? And now from the elbow to the forearm, to the wrist, top, and elbow to the wrist, bottom. And now wrist to the end of the palm of the hand, and wrist to the end of the top of the hand. And now see if you can extend both thumbs, both fingertips, index fingers, ring fingers, pinky fingers. I think I missed the middle finger. All fingers, make them as long as you can, all the way out through the fingernails. Now spread your fingers as wide as you can. Now spread your palms as wide as you can. Keep pushing with your shoulders, straightening out your arms. Arms are feeling kind of tired, huh? And relax. We'll come down to the back. That is our goal. Gentle, kind, mindful movement. It keeps us flexible. It helps us to prevent a lot of the pain that comes from those myofascial adhesions. Those things arise because we're either A, not moving at all, or B, moving too roughly, or too aggressively. When we feel pain in the joints and we try to get around that, that's not helping things. Really, all it's doing is causing those adhesions to grow larger because you're doing nothing to try to break them up. And you do nothing to break them up because it's painful, right? So come to status hearing every morning. All we're going to do are gentle moves like that just help you break up fascia, help you wake up, help you warm up your body a little bit. We'll finish in a supine position, just lying on the back. So just relax your feet, relax your legs, relax your shoulders. And breathe. I feel that it's the activity that allows us to sort of settle at the end like this. You'll probably notice that diaphragmatic breathing comes a little more naturally right now than it did before. You warmed up your body. And that blood flow really makes you feel relaxed. Check in with your forearms, your hands, your fingers. Check in with the backs of your thighs, your hips, your abdominals. Are you feeling any sensations there? I'm feeling sensations in my shins. Any sensations that you're feeling, if they're standing out a little bit, it's because there's a little more blood in those areas. And it went to that area because there's waste product there. Your body knows what to do. Your body sent blood to those areas to clean them up, to take the waste products out and to deliver nutrition so that more energy can be created in the cells the next time you try to move. But our just gentle moving around and twisting a little bit and really small movements in the fingers and the wrists, those are huge because we don't do them that often. We let them go, we forget about them. It's normal, it's normal. But it doesn't take a whole lot to counter the pain that results when we never move them. As you lie quietly, feeling into your body, feeling yourself breathe, remember that any of these movements have to be kind. We often talk about kindness, and it sounds like it's some kind of admonition or some kind of, if you're a good person, then you'll be kind. Well, I'd like to propose that perhaps kindness has nothing to do with good or bad. I was talking about these adhesions and talking about how we feel them and we try to bypass them. My knee hurts, so I'm going to walk a little faster and just ignore it. Or my hands hurt, but I have to write something in my pen the same way. Or tense up when I'm on my keyboard. Or tense up my shoulders. It would be kind at that point to stop inflicting pain on yourself. To go to that area and be with it. Most of the time when we have pain in a specific area, and just I'm talking about passive pain, I'm not talking about pain as a result of chronic disease, although that we'll talk about that later. But pain from tight muscles, if we go right there, if you turn your attention right there, try to pinpoint it and breathe into the pinpoint. Over half the time, you will notice that the pain subsides. All you had to do was look at it. It's like a teenager crying out for attention by acting up in school or doing drugs, or they want someone to pay attention. And why not? Just pay attention. So I'd like to propose that is kindness, paying attention. It doesn't have to do with good or bad or right or wrong. It has to do with what feels good. What feels good in your body? Well, pay attention. Pay attention to the pain. It's telling you something. And no, we're not going to get obsessed over it or allow it to disrupt our daily lives. I mean, the paying attention part. But if we took a moment to pay attention, maybe we wouldn't have to let it disrupt our lives. If you've never tried it, who can say? Take another 30 seconds or so to just lie still. Remember that lying still is the fastest way to get those sensations in your body to calm down. If you're feeling muscle twitching, or perhaps you're feeling a burning sensation. I suspect that anything like that is gone now because we've been lying here for some time and we haven't diverted the blood for another activity. So it's probably been able to clean out the joints by now. We'll finish out here by coming back to your, wherever you are, back to the room, back to the daily grind, whatever it's going to be. But hopefully coming back a little more aware, a little more embodied than we were before. Whenever you're ready, roll to one side. Give yourself a moment on your side, and then gently bring yourself back to an upright position. I'll be saying a lot more about this idea of embodiment. But for me, embodiment has been a huge factor in allowing me to manage depression, manage anxiety. Embodiment is a solid place where I can go when I need to. I'll be talking more about that as we go on. However, thank you for joining me today. I hope this was useful for you. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Central. Namaste.